Let me share with you 11 reasons that I believe the West doesn't want Africa to develop. Essentially, the colonial demons, the reason why they do not want Africa to develop. I will share with you 11 reasons why they do not want Africa to develop. Now, this video is going to be in two parts. So I will first talk about maybe the first 5, and then I will talk about the rest later. Okay, now we know that Africa is rich beyond imagination. I mean, it is no longer news that, yeah, we know we have huge resources on our continent. We have huge, minerals. We have unlimited resources, human, like there's just a lot, abundance on our continent. But then we're still underdeveloped. We're still going through a lot of difficult times. Our people are still going through hunger, poverty, and all that. And these are the things that we keep talking about all the time, right? But let's look at these very reasons why exactly the West does not want Africa to develop. Now, number one reason is the economic interest. You see, they want us to be economically dependent on them. And when they make sure that, okay, it's just only raw materials that we export, we do not process those raw materials into finished products that are going to give it higher value, and then we can make more money, right? So they just want us to stay at that level of producing raw materials so that they can exploit us. They can buy those things cheap from us and then sell them at huge amounts in the global market. We've seen it time and again with even how they have dealt with many of all these francophone countries. Like, thank God how Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger, separated from these colonial demons, France. You see, because they were busy exploiting their resources, their uranium, their gold, and other resources, until those guys, detached from them and took power by force. And I think that's what we need across the continent. Because yes, in as much as these guys pull their puppet, they put all this, their so-called democracy that they are using to rob us, they are using to extort us and steal our resources, because by that they put in their puppet in government, and then those ones, they use them to siphon the resources and just keep us underdeveloped. So the first reason is the economic interest, the fact that they want us to be economically dependent on them and just keep our resources at that low level state, just for us to be supplying them raw materials without turning them into finished products. That's number one. Number two is the control of the global markets. You see, yeah, it's related to the first one, which has to do with them wanting to dominate the global market. So if they make sure that we do not develop, so we cannot compete with them on a global stage, like, okay, because we have huge resources which we can convert to many great products. So by them controlling the global markets, so they've sideline us and make sure that, okay, we can't even reach that level of competing with them on the global stage. So that's the second reason of them keeping Africa underdeveloped, because they don't want competition at that global level and having that power to also control the global market. Number 3, the third reason is the geopolitical power. You see, these guys, now that's in the world of politics, which is like the main thing now, is like they don't want Africa to compete with them on the global political level. Like, we know most of our African leaders are not really strong politically when it comes to the global stage. Like, how many African leaders or politicians have you seen that can really speak with a resounding voice on a global stage? None. Because they've crippled our political system, they've crippled the so-called democracy, whatever form of government we have. You see, because that's the thing, they want us to be their puppet as far as politics is concerned. They want to be continuous because, yes, in as much as they are controlling the geopolitical power, we're still going to remain underdeveloped. Because if we cannot, dictate our own future, if you cannot say, okay, this is what we want, this is what we want to do, then how do you control your resources? How do you decide what you want for your future, for your nations? And that's what we're currently going through. So you see, these guys, they do not want Africa to develop. The reason being that, yes, they are controlling the geopolitical power. The fourth reason is the debt and financial dependency. Now, they always want us to be dependent on them financially. So by that, they don't want Africa to develop, because if Africa develops, we are not going to be dependent on them financially, and we will not have any reason to be collecting loans or all these debts and things that are just making us to be serving them, serving the debt, serving the loans, serving all this financial dependency and all that. And that is what is plunging our continent into poverty, because many of our nations will spend years serving these debts and paying all these loans, you see. So that is their way. Like, okay, they don't want us to be developed. They want Africa to develop because they want us to keep collecting debts and being financially dependent on them. And you also see that with many of all these francophone countries as well, African countries, in which case they print their currency in francs. They spend in franc. Okay, how can you be spending a foreign, like you call it franc, how can you spend a foreign currency in your own continent? What happened to you? What happened to our own system? What happened to your own name? Why are you using foreign name as your own currency? You see, you think about these things, you just know that something is wrong somewhere. Like, what is so hard for our leaders? We've been talking about this thing for how many years? What is so hard for these leaders to do the right thing if they really want to do it? But that's when you understand that no, they don't really have the power. They don't really have the wherewithal to do it, because yes, they are under external influence. They are under foreign influence. That if they go beyond or opposite of what they are asked to do, they're gonna be pushed out. See, we keep talking about these things because these guys, these foreign agents, they are the one engineering everything. They are not there like physically that you're seeing them, that they are the one ruling the country, but behind the scenes they are the one masterminding everything. But like I always say, their time is up. Just a matter of time. Like, they're gonna see the time is up. These demons, the time is up. Now, the fifth reason, which we're gonna end there, is the cheap labor and migration control. You see, let's talk about cheap labor. Cheap labor is the fact that they don't want Africa to develop, because that is the only way they can get cheap labor from our continent. We know Africa has the highest number of young people in the world. Just imagine for a second, like if our continent has over 1.5 billion people and the youth takes already more than half, like more than 60 to 70% of the population is youth. Can you imagine that people under maybe 30 years old? So imagine that. So that is a huge strength. That is a huge strength. And they don't want Africa to develop because they always want they always want to exploit our human resources, take advantage of our young people, people who are jobless, who have nothing doing, you know. So what do? They give them drugs, they give them all manner of things. Any small money they give them, yes, they can use them for anything they want. You see many of all these young guys going into all this Al-Qaeda, terrorism, human trafficking, so many things, crimes going on our continent. You see, because that is what they want. In as much as Africa remain underdeveloped, they will always be exploiting our cheap labor. They will always be taking advantage of our young minds, people who don't have nothing that they're doing. I mean, they said an empty hand is devil's workshop. People who don't have nothing they're doing, what are they going to do? They're just going to be, do whatever you give them to do. And that's what we see with many of our young people. Many are just roaming the streets. They just join into gangs. They become criminals, doing all manner of things all over the place because there's something for them to do. So these guys intentionally want to keep us underdeveloped so that our young minds will be taken advantage of. They will be lured into wrong things, and then they will be misusing their strength. They'll be using them to do wrong things, to be causing, wreaking havoc all over the place. See, the other time I was hearing the news of how more and more young people are joining the terrorists. They are joining the Al-Qaeda and all these Islamic terrorists, whatever they are calling it, around the continent. Like, look at this, especially in West Africa. Now they said they are using TikTok and all these other social media to recruit young ones, new members. Can you imagine all these things? And then we say we have government. We will say we have politicians. We have leaders. What is this going on with us? And things are going on every day. People are being kidnapped. There's security problem. There's economic crisis. There's inflation. There's all manner of problems all over the continent. And it just seems like everybody we just like in the jungle. We're just living whatever. And then when you see this thing, they say, oh, but you're against your government. You are not saying the truth. You are shaming the government, whatever. But is this not the truth? Are we not telling the truth? Are we not in the jungle? What kind of system is this? Anybody can wake up and do anything they want. There's no law. There's no order. Nothing is working. So what are we talking about? You see? So that's for us to understand that the primary cause, because I always tell people that in as much as we are looking at what is going on the continent, we need to solve our problem empirically. We need to look at the scientific analysis of the problem that we have, not just to look at it superficially and say, let's face ourselves. We are the one. We are the problems. We are the one. Of course, we're taking responsibility on this now. It's gonna mean we're gonna find the problem with ourselves, and also where the root cause of the problem is, which is from these colonial demons. That's why I kept saying that we need to just fish out these guys and stop them and stop their wickedness on our continent, because now we know they are our enemies. Very important. These demons in the West and other parts of the world that are colonizers in all these Arab countries, we know they are our enemies, and we cannot joke with them. We cannot be laughing with them. We cannot do as if everything is all right, everything is okay. Why? They are killing us and they are killing our future. But I say their time is up. I'm telling these guys, I'm telling them that their time is up, and they will surely see the heavy hand of God upon them and their generations. Africa is on its path of progress and development, and nothing will ever stop us. So we continue on the second part of this video. Please like and share this, and I will see you in the second part of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.